What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video, and in this one we have Bharat, which is another word for India, is destroying the dragon. How Chinese react when they see the new India with Carolina Goswami. Now, before we dive into this video, if you happen to enjoy it, please don't forget to hit subscribe and give the video a like. And if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, there's a link in the description section that you can hit, sign up, and receive exclusive benefits. Let's dive right in.
India in details.
There was a time when jealous Chinese social media trolls would ridicule India when Indians talked about the possibility of their country reclaiming global superpower status. There was a time when Chinese trolls would share the images of poor Indian infrastructure, compare it with theirs, and feel happy about it. But little did those Chinese trolls know that within just a few years, India would sensationally re-emerge as a global heavyweight, not just competing against the Chinese, but actually beating the Chinese at their own game.
Okay.
And this time, Indians don't need to talk about it like before. It is the Chinese state-affiliated media and Chinese who are visiting India, seeing the tremendous growth that India is experiencing and telling that to the world. Yes, this is the story of the Chinese arrogance that once looked like a dragon, but thanks to India, now seems more like a dragonfly. Zhang Jiadong, who is a professor at Fudan University in Shanghai, visited India recently. And yes, when he arrived, seeing India's progress and development, he appeared absolutely stunned. But before I tell you how he reacted to the new India, take a look at this.
I do want to say, I like the way she started with this. You feel me? There was a time when China trolls would get on social media and post the poor parts of India and then compare with their infrastructure and feel good about themselves and all that and all that. They would laugh at us and all that. But now India is emerging again as a superpower that they were before. And now ain't got nothing to laugh about no more. Ain't nothing funny no more. You feel me? Talk to me.
India can take China's growth crown, published on Bloomberg. Here it is observed that on the one hand, China is slowing, and on the other hand, India's stock market is booming, foreign investment is flooding in, and governments are lining up to sign new trade deals with the youthful market of 1.4 billion people. Yes, according to this Bloomberg economics analysis, India could become the world's #1 contributor to GDP growth as early as 2028. In Bloomberg Economics' base case scenario, India's economy will accelerate to 9% by the end of the decade, while China slows to 3.5%. That puts India on course to overtake China as the world's biggest growth driver by 2028. Yes, you heard that right. India is expected to overtake China as the world's growth driver. Yes, this is an extraordinary moment when it comes to two of Asia's greatest powers. As explained here, a momentous shift is underway in global markets. Investors are pulling billions of dollars from China, and much of that cash is now heading for India, with Wall Street giants like Goldman Sachs Group and Morgan Stanley endorsing India as the prime investment destination for the next decade. That momentum is triggering a gold rush. Read this here. It is a historic market shift. India's infrastructure push is showing results on multiple levels. For example, the average container dwell time, India 3 days, USA 7 days, and Germany 10 days. And as shown here, Indian ports turnaround time is better than the USA, Australia, or Singapore. Even the Western media sharks are finding it too difficult to ignore India's growth. India is not just an alternative to China. In multiple ways, it is increasingly becoming a better option than China, which is grappling with a myriad of economic challenges. And
Yeah, you can't ignore India's growth right now. India's growth is absolutely incredible. It's truly sensational. And dang, now a lot of investors pulling their money out of China. They saying India is the place that you need to invest in the next decade. This is the place. This is the prime place right here. India look like they 2028. We'll see. India gonna pass China. We'll find out.
Oh no, India's growth is not expected to destroy the environment the way China did. As shown here, on a GDP per capita basis, India today lags China by 15 years, but emissions per capita are far lower. So yes, India will be cleaner, faster than China. So, dear China, please listen to what the ambassador of the USA to India, Eric Garcetti, said here.
If you want to see the future, come to India. If you want to feel the future, come to India. And if you want to work on the future, come to India.
Dang.
Well, so it seems that to see, feel, and to work on the future, Professor Zhang Jiadong of Fudan University in Shanghai decided to come to India. And what did he see in India? Well, according to Professor Zhang Jiadong, India's domestic and foreign situation have changed tremendously compared to 4 years ago.
That's crazy.
He explains that India's great power strategy is now a reality and how, with its rapid economic and social development, India has become more strategically confident and more proactive in creating and developing a Bharat narrative. Read this carefully if you want to know what the Bharat narrative is. To conclude, Mr. Jiadong admitted that India is indeed a major power and a transformed, stronger and more assertive India has become a new geopolitical factor that many countries need to consider. There is no doubt that the professor from the Chinese university does make some sense here, but in his article, he failed to mention how India's road to superpower status is not only destroying Chinese arrogance, but also that India's rise is actually destroying the original Chinese plans regarding the dragon's economic growth and dominance. Yes, gone are the times when our channel, many other optimistic Indians and only a few others would talk about the expected re-emergence of India as a superpower. Now, when the Financial Times publishes an article with a headline like that, this new reality is too difficult to ignore. It is no surprise that
they got to become a superpower. That kind of growth, and then India being so young, they're definitely on the rise to becoming a global superpower. That's incredible. That's truly incredible. And watching these videos, I've got to learn a decent amount about India, and the amount I've learned, India is just an incredible place with incredibly resilient and very smart people. And like they say, it's a place to invest over the next decade.
Articles, the Chinese state-affiliated media outlet, the Global Times, can be seen softening its stance regarding India. In this article, it describes how India has emerged as an important player on the global stage and how nearly 70% Indian respondents believe a close and cooperative relationship with China is beneficial for India, according to a Global Times survey. Well, the CCP's mouthpiece that used to mock India's superpower ambitions is now referring to India and China as dynamic neighbors. Seems China is nervous about India's rise and it has no choice but to adjust to the new reality of the world.
Facts.
But there is one thing that we should remember. Whether the dragon becomes a dragonfly or not, it is expected to remain as jealous as it used to be. According to Sana Hashmi, who is postdoctoral fellow at Taiwan Asia Exchange Foundation, there are people in China who are angry that the West isn't outraged enough by meeting Putin. Sana explains how a prevalent sentiment questions why India can maintain business ties with both Europe and Russia simultaneously without much scrutiny, while China faces severe criticism for similar actions. There have also been calls for the US and Europe to impose sanctions on Indian companies for doing business with Russia. But if billions of dollars are moving from China to India, if India's rise is hurting China in a way, if India's rise is making the Chinese jealous or weaker, then it shouldn't be seen as bad news.
Why would China be upset at the West? The West is against y'all, China. The US, they want y'all to fall a little bit. They don't want y'all to keep rising. So why would you be upset at them not giving India the same backlash as they gave you? That don't make sense.
Want to know why? Because it is China whose massive attack against India is a looming possibility. Yes, as described here, a prevalent thought exists in China that talks about 6 wars that China will fight to regain its lost glory. Number 1, the unification of Taiwan. Number 2, recover South China Sea Islands. Number 3, reconquest of the so-called Southern Tibet. Well, India's Arunachal Pradesh holds significant potential for hydropower development and China knows that quite well. Number 4, conquering Diaoyu and Ryukyu Islands. Number 5, the invasion of Mongolia.
Dang.
And 6, war with Russia.
Oh Lord.
Yes, Russians, don't be surprised. Yes, as mentioned here, between China and Russia, while diplomatic ties have improved, deep-seated mistrust persists. fueled by China's perception that Russia occupies massive swathes of land that has historically belonged to China since the Qing dynasty. That is why, for the sake of regional and global stability, India needs to outgrow China, and the world should understand that before it is too late.
I feel
And
that.
no, don't think that the bilateral trade between India and China is not rising. Yes, it is rising. It is even reaching record levels, and it is likely to rise
That's
more.
incredible.
But if the Chinese are actually celebrating it, they should not, because the bilateral trade between India and China would have been even higher if China had not misbehaved with India. Of course, on the surface,
While it's at the highest record level, it could be higher if y'all acted right. Got your act together.
least, for now, the Chinese tone seems to be changing. There are reports that suggest that Beijing is prepared to work with India to
wow.
properly handle the border issues. But it is probably a bit too late. Indians know that China cannot be trusted. There are people who think so. For example, under this article in the Global Times, a user commented, "China damaged the prospects of Asian century for few inches of land."
Oh.
Yes, it can be said that in a way, China overestimated itself and underestimated India. As a
Probably,
result,
yeah.
China has just experienced its first punishment, and it is more like an economic punishment. But please tell me, what was China expecting when it decided to disrespect its own spiritual guru, India? Even today, if the dragonfly, the dragon, learns how to behave with its spiritual guru, Bharat, Mother India has a big heart, and she knows how to handle or help her lost student.
Yeah! I really like this video. She kind of let China have it in this video, you feel me? She said, hey, but at the end of the day, if y'all want to come, India has a big heart, India is forgiving, and they will help you. Or they will take you back into the fold. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and check out the next video here. See you guys next time.